Hello guys, Tempo back with another Ranger video. It's gonna be a shorter version. I'm gonna explain like updates, what I've done with my gear, passive trees, some gems I guess, and other stuff. It's really cool actually. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe, comment. It helps a lot. You have no idea how much it helps. If you liked the video, of course, if it was helpful, which I hope it will be. I put a lot of time and effort into this with my build, and I am glad to share it with you guys to also show you guys like I'm doing some crazy damage, and I've been basically sitting for like the past 2 days trying to figure out how to go up acrobatics because you need so much evasion. So I actually got this chest. It costed a lot actually. It costed about, I mean a lot and a lot. 3 div is quite a lot. I think 3 div is still pricey. It's over 200 exalted in value. It's like, but it's worth it. You could also probably pay a little bit less if you wouldn't want the spirit, but I do think the spirit is insanely good, and I will explain why in a bit. I did get some inspiration, mainly because I was doing the Trial of Chaos, and that fucking bird was absolutely murdering me. So I was thinking like, actually a viewer was saying, why don't you get some freeze? And I was like, freeze is probably gonna be good. It's not gonna fill the fantasy of like exploding the grenade, like the gas arrow myself, and a little bit more versatile like playstyle. Like you actually rotate 2 buttons now, like 2, 3, 4 buttons. Now it's like 1, 2, 3 buttons basically. It's gonna be the frost bomb. It's gonna be just arrows and sometimes the barrage. I guess you would call it almost the same, but you can also still pre-ramp, even though you're using the hood. Let's go over the items a little bit. So I got this bow yesterday, and it is fucking sick. This bow actually got up like my average damage. So in this build, you're not gonna look at DPS in my opinion. You're going to, I mean, you can watch the DPS, sure, but the big number is actually this one. This is what you need to watch out for. The average damage per use, because when you put down arrows, all these are going to explode, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 arrows basically exploding at the same time at the same location. So when I went for this bow, I don't give a fuck about attack speed, because I think the thing is, more attack speed will also generate more cost, which will generate more explosions, obviously, but it will drain your mana a lot. I got pretty lucky to get this bow that gives me mana on enemy killed and also leech mana. Like without this, you will go Omega. So try not to stack too much of the attack speed. I also have some other like mana tricks that I will show you in a while when we go through the 3. So this bow is insane. This head, you can play without it, which I've done for a while. I also tried it out like some days ago as well, but I feel like the DPS becomes kind of good, but you cannot always control, like you cannot pre-ramp, you cannot control a bursty scenario that easily. You can if you hide behind like a wall. If you like shoot enemies behind and you hide behind a wall, then enemies stack up and they go inside the smoke, and you're like that. You can either like, when the smoke is there, you can either like dash out and everything will explode, right? So that means you have controlled the burst of the explosion, right? Rather than just shooting in the wild open, because it will trigger the explosion all the time because everything is ignited around you. So like there are some tricks and tips to this, but yeah, pretty good. Although I did realize going the 2 legendaries that I will show you did mess up with my resistances, my HP quite a lot, and also my evasion. So that is a big negative, but you will have to invest so much into the other pieces and also on the 3. I've managed to get to a point where I think I'm kinda okay with acrobatics. My HP is a little low, but I had to kind of do it to get all that evasion for acrobatics to be good. And also the spirit. Like, generally, I could remove this 30 spirit and get some, like, I don't know, like 150 HP, 200 HP. But that is like pros and cons, right? Like what do you actually value? And yeah, I'm going like this for now. If I see or notice that it's becoming a trouble, then I'll most likely change. But we'll see. So this head, insanely good. You can also play without it. It works. Like you just play with the flame ball that I've been doing now since the start. And flame wall will ignite instead, and you can also shoot through the flame wall, and the arrows will ignite through the flame wall and make explosions, so it's fine. The snake is really good, but it could be way better. I might find a replacement in a bit. I would like to remove the mana regeneration, because my mana reg is actually fine. And get probably more resistances on it. And more life, but it's gonna be very expensive. Like this one was, I think it was 1 div. If you want more, then it's like 3-4 div and shit. Like it's really, really expensive. But it did have what I really, really wanted, and that was a really big amount of spirit. I could also remove 20 spirit from here, most likely from the neck, and get some more resistances. Like let's say I got like more cold, like 30 cold there or something, and like maybe 100 plus HP. But I did value the vitality support pretty good actually. This one has actually pretty good value, 1% HP every second. So also why I chose to go that instead of like a more beefed up neck with resistances instead is because I've encountered so many bosses where like, or scenarios where like my flasks are running out because the I'm playing with like this this thing here to get more loot basically, and sometimes the bosses get one mod that actually gives the boss like I know a crazy amount of energy shield, and like the fight actually takes so long because it's like regening the energy shield, and also like if the boss has phases where it like goes up and you can't attack it, then the energy shield actually goes up to maximum value again, and you have to break it down again, and then you take like damage and everything, and you have to like press those life flasks and stuff. And in these situations, like it has happened quite a few times actually, and I've noticed that vitality is going to help there, because then I don't need to turbo press the life flask. And also if I run out of life flask, I have some sort of HP sustain that I can play around, basically. So that's the idea there. And not also to mention the extra 30 spirit that I get from this chest. Apart from Wind Dancer, that is giving a lot of evasion, I have Herald of Ash, that is essential also to doing a crazy amount of damage. I have Combat Frenzy, that is mostly for bosses and big rares. Barrage also played around with this more like earlier in the build, but it recently got buffed, so I'm like trying it out a bit, and it's actually insanely good, especially with Combat Frenzy. And then on Gas Arrow, I have chosen to play with the concentrated effect all the time now. Basically, because it gives the most amount of damage by far, but it is gimping the area effect of the arrows. But since I got this bow, it gets one additional arrow. This is a unique situation for me. It might not be the same for you, that you have 2-arrow bow yet, but you will be, you will have like eventually, most likely. And since it's doing one more arrow, that means the area is also larger that it covers when I shoot, obviously. So in my case, actually this one is very good / fine. But if you don't have double arrow, I would be a little bit cautious with this, and probably go with... You cannot go with Marshall with the... with the other like increase. There is like this, let me see where it is, primal armament that gives weapon elemental damage. There's one more rune or support gem that actually gives also some elemental damage, but you cannot inflict ailments, like the elemental ailments. So then the cold like function inside this won't really work. I noticed. So you either need to go like heft, the support gem heft, or concentrated effect, or the one that gives like extra. There's one that gives like extra fire damage or something. Exactly this one, immolates. Cannot ignite. That's fine, because gas arrow is not igniting. It's the helm doing it. And then you can basically supported attacks gain 30% of extra fire damage against ignited enemies, which they always are. You could play this or heft instead of concentrated effect if you don't have a double arrow, I would say. Double arrow bow. Also, Herald of Ice. I am calling this build from now on the Elemental Ranger or Elemental Ranger, Ele Ranger, because it's utilizing shock, ice, and fire. So it's like all the elements. Pretty cool. Herald of Ice, insanely good. It's doing super much damage. You can put some nodes here, some support gems. I'm gonna show a little bit quick the gems soon. I'm just going over. And this is like mainly for AoE. Herald of Ash mainly AoE, but also you get so much like damage increase values because these are like active and it's giving you fire damage and cold damage. And the fire damage actually double dips. So like I have gloves that actually converts 86% of my fire damage. So that becomes cold, and also it will get enhanced by this 50% increased cold damage. And then again, the 14% extra, the 14% other fire damage of this effect, right, of my damage is still fire, which also converts into cold, and that also gets added into this. So, what is a bit different? We're going cold now, because these gloves actually converts fire damage into cold damage, and you need, like when you're typing, searching for these gloves, you need to type like at least 85 to like 99 fire damage converted to cold damage. Because if you have 100, it will not work, like the build. So basically now the explosions are frost, like they're literally freezing enemies and also like doing cold damage, most of it. But you can scale it with fire and cold and elemental damage basically. And then the shock is basically just to apply 20% increased damage taken to mobs. So we went from casting the fire flasks to fire exposure to actually shattering concussion, which exposes freeze, cold exposure, which makes the cold damage from the explosions do way more damage. And I usually do this to bosses or really big elites in the opener, and then one more time, and then the guy's like kind of dead. We can show a little bit here, Magnifest. I'll just show very quick now, because I'm gonna do a full guide on this. This is basically just a little bit of an update to what I've done with the build. And it's doing some crazy stuff, for sure. I'm gonna demonstrate a little bit, like a rare or inside a dungeon, and you will see. Don't mind this, I'm barely not using that, because I am shocking a lot now, since I've taken another thing. I'm gonna show you, like a passive node. Or, well, a node. So these are the changes. Oh, did I show all the gear, by the way? So this one, I got new quiver that gives me so much dexterity. Also from the passive tree, like this one is not giving 30 dexterity, it's like giving fucking like 60, 70 dexterity. And that made me able to spec out of a lot of dexterity on the tree and get more evasion basically. It was really sick to find this one. And it's also doing more cold damage, which I had fire previously, which means I will be able to freeze easier bosses as well now. Getting the resistances was really hard actually. As you can see, my cold is kind of low or pretty low, and my chaos is like pretty low as well. I'm not even capped on the lightning yet. Also, like I need to fix it a little bit more, but it's really hard. I might look for a belt actually that can give cold, like what am I saying? That can give like 40 like cold and like literally like 39 fucking lightning resist also. So I can cap the lightning at least. Maybe even a chaos on it as well, but it's gonna be very pricey. Also, if I want the max HP to stay, like it's gonna be like fucking at least 5 divs. Like it's gonna be very pricey. Also, when you're looking for chests for acrobatics, look for studded. They're called studded, expert pathfinder, expert serpent scale. Like those are the 3 versions that give an obscene amount of evasion rating, basically. And you want to find these with high evasion rating, high increased evasion rating, and then everything else is like freestyle, up to you, basically. These are the rings, added damage, stats that you need, and also resistances. I had double HP here, like I lost like from rings almost 200 HP, I lost from neck like almost 100 HP, I lost from chest, I had like a fucking 300 plus HP chest. I lost some HP, guys. Hopefully it works out with all the evasion plus acrobatics. This the belt also, and these are the flasks. Yeah. Also, I'll be showing demonstrating a lot on my stream, so you can just check out the stream also. When I'm playing, I'll be able to answer a lot of questions there, stuff like that. So basically, also, if I'm not able to freeze boss like super quick with these, I have a backup plan, and it's these. I actually got them really cheap because they don't have a rune. I got it for pretty cheap actually, like a couple of exalted actually. But these are worth like probably like around 5 plus 10 divs because they have 98% of fire damage converted to cold, and people really want that. And it also has an insane amount of cold and fire resist on it, plus like 15 plus intellect. But these are like my mapping ones for like packs and rares and stuff like that. And if I need to, I'll swap to this like for boss, basically like this. Yeah, let's go over the passive tree. Also note, I've said it before, but those that haven't watched my videos before or checked out my stream, I'm adding a lot of lightning and cold to the bow, to the quiver. You can also add it to the bow, obviously, but you need to be super lucky finding that. You can add it to rings, lightning damage, cold damage, lightning damage, cold damage, lightning damage, right? And Fizz is just insane. Like, Fizz is just more, like, super much damage. But lightning and cold damage added is also a lot of damage, but the beautiful thing about this is, like, it's gonna increase the shock that I'm applying, the shock chance, the shock, and then the cold is gonna apply the freeze, basically. So that's, like, the beauty of it. That's why I'm doing like that. Here you see, I have changed a bunch of things, optimizing and min-maxing a lot. Like this one is really good. I think this one is less good, but this one is really good for evasion. If you haven't been hit recently, and you need to kind of play around that, like if you get hit and you notice that, then just be a little careful for like a couple of seconds, and then it's gonna probably like refresh. A lot of elemental damage, elemental penna. Elemental penna is usually better in this build instead of just pure like one penna. So try to get all the like attack damage penetrates, X enemy elemental resistances, because it's gonna go into the fire and the cold, right? And the lightning that you're doing. Increase, this one is also really good. Increases the freeze buildup, chance to shock, electrocute buildup, is really good. This is more damage, more duration, damage, like attack damage. Here, if you roll, you get evasion, more evasion, more evasion. The jewels, here you go for the jewels. It's Herald, skills there increase damage as well. This one is protectile damage. Increased evasion. This is a lot of evasion. Basically, I was able, because of this quiver is so insanely high on dexterity, and because of these nodes here that empowers the quiver equip bonuses, I was able to do some crazy outspecking here. I was able to spec out of 1, 2, 3, like around 40 decks, and get this instead, and connect these to this instead, and also have acrobatics. Like, so this was like crazy upgrade for me, basically because of this quiver. More attack speed here, more damage, penetration, also intellect. I need so much stat, it's crazy. Also, basically every single node here is like not a single passive node is dexterity, by the way. It's all from gear. Also here, like I said it before, so basically we're getting the cold damage increase, we're getting the fire damage increase, we're getting the lightning damage increase. When I get more spirit, I'll go for that maybe, or maybe cast on freeze or something like that. We'll see. Added cold damage, so basically this is also, this gem is helping a lot on the mana department. And also adding a lot of damage. It's like 15 cold damage, 12 elemental damage, and a lot of mana back. Also, this is helping the bow leech more mana. Also, a lot of damage. We have this, which further increases the herald by another 25, so 50% increased herald damage, increased elemental damage, chance to shock, ignite, and shield enemies. Also more damage, a little bit of crit here as well. It's like a little bit extra node on the side. Also here, increased shock chance. So basically I have like a lot of shock chance as well, with like with here, shock chance, because shock actually increases the damage the NPC is taking by 20%, and that is more damage, like 20% more damage, which is insane. Like, it's a lot of damage. And then, yeah, these are the changes basically. Also, my anoint point is this. This is my neck. It's just pure like damage boost. If I would choose something, like really choose something, it would be either all natural, which I think is insane, but it costs a fear, like double fear, which is like a lot of gold, like a lot of exalted or divs. Like, it's really pricey. Or you also have nodes around here that's also really insane. And they are about, let me try to find them. Where are they, bro? They should be here around somewhere. I could just type, I guess. Thought I could find it easily. Okay, let's just type and not waste time. Also, you can type like this, and it will like super accurately like look for what you're looking for. Oh, it was here. Like, what? What? Didn't I click this? Okay, so these are also fucking insane. So basically, we're doing all of this, right? We're shocking, we're igniting, we're shilling. Like, this is just pure 90 fucking. Like, if you could get like, maybe I've been thinking like you could probably go all the way to this shit, because this is like insane also. And you could like go through this as well, which is also fucking insane. But then that would mean like so much less probably evasion and shit like that. I don't know if going out of all of these and this would actually help going through all of that into this one. It's a lot of nodes. Maybe I can theorycraft about that later. But basically, like, these are also really expensive. These are all the suffering ones. If you have a lot of currency, then sure, you can go for these. These are also very good options. Defensive options. This one is pretty good. I've noticed. Gain armor, extra armor from 8% of evasion rating, because you're gonna have so much evasion. It's just gonna get more and more and more. So it's like a free, like 14% armor or something. Or you can go for some other nodes. Like, there's a attack damage node if you have a lot of currency. That is also really good. If you don't need elemental resistances. And it's this one. It gives reduced attack speed, but it doesn't fucking matter. It gives an insane amount of stun buildup, and it gives an insane amount of attack damage. Like, this one is also super pricey. It has suffering in it. But this is gonna boost your damage by a shit ton. But once again, this is a lot of damage, and it's a lot pricey. So yeah, that's basically it. Can show you a little bit of pumping, and then yeah, that's it. If you like the video, once again, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. Also, check me out on Twitch TV, Tempo1. It's linked in the description. And I'll show you, I'll demonstrate some damage here. You have to I hate these goals, by the way. These goals are so fucked up. If you keep shooting like mobs and stuff, you won't really go home. Almost died. That's me rolling into like 50 mobs. Not good. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. You pretty much see the damage. This is a 14 or something. And that's it. Take care, and bye. It was a long video. Holy. Okay.